It's Tuesday, the 3rd of August. I come here with a teleological, thoughtful process. To outline currencies inside the UK. I'm also a political analyst, emphasiser. I like to exfoliate my expression, what's going on around us within the UK Dominion. It's Proclamation news and Gatherence, ladies and gents. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope you're all having a wonderful summer break, enjoying it with your family, friends, or whatever. Whatever you do in a summer break, should still be taking some sort of consideration with restrictions to keep your family safe, but each to their own devices. Tackle it how you think, what you think is appropriate. Be safe. Is all I can acquire. Anyway, if you want to change your aspirations, your mental health, your well-being, you want to better your health, check relaxuk.com. Relax UK limited health, travel, and wellness products since 1997. UK relaxation shops and various ranges of products from relaxation, travel, well-being, biofeedback, sleeping, and natural products. PSS alarms, very etiquette and pragmatic works carried out. Get a pen ready. Take this number down. All areas covered, including central station mods, are provided. All work done according to insurance requirements. This is a friend of mine's company. He's carried out works in Harry Kane's stepmother's house in Hertfordshire, Potts Bar. He's carried out etiquette works in Essex, such as Casbah Restaurant, and many more big businesses. Installation and maintenance of intruder alarms, fire alarms, CCTV, all work guaranteed and certified to SSARB standards. 24-hour call-out service. Canberfied CCTV for pubs, clubs, restaurants, or new business setup. Secure your business. Mention Professor Johnson for an extra discount. Secure your home. Secure your business. Your safety and priority in your business are paramount, so think safety, think first. Secure your equity. Take this number down if you want safety of your family, safety of your business, which is paramount. Take this number down. 07908 216 142. 07908 216 142. Don't forget to mention Professor Johnson for an extra discount. Ask to speak to Tarek Khan. He's very, very adequate in his job position. Doesn't drink, doesn't take narcotics, he doesn't smoke either. So as he's doing the job, doing the wiring, the trimmings outside, there won't be fag butts on the floor to clean up. That's what I'm saying. He's very, very, very professional in his job. You don't have to worry about him being around children because he's not going to be smoking around the children. Very, very expert with his job. Absolutely. He loves his job. He's good at his job. And he deserves some support by taking him on board. Get the job done. Make your family secure. Make your business secure. Call Telecom. We're going to look at road incidents inside the UK. As I was looking previously, I was looking at statistics, yearly incidents. It's over 100,000 odd incidents a year. Over 100,000 casualties a year. Not incidents, casualties through car incidents a year. That's a lot, isn't it? That's a lot for the police to attend to. It's a lot for the NHS to attend to. It's a lot for the fire brigade also to attend to. There's an incident yesterday. Fire brigade had turned up, cutting someone out of a car. I think it was the mother, if I remember rightly. Anyway, do not enter the vehicle under the influence of alcoholism or narcotics or sleep deprivation, especially lorry drivers. Do long hours. I mean, lorry drivers, they're obviously, majority of them probably professional job. They won't even think about going to work under the influence of alcoholism and narcotics, although we have seen it on the very, very, very rare occasion. We've seen it, but Yeah, think safety, think first. Check your MOT, make sure you got insurance, taxed. All the advisories on your MOT that you need to get them done. I know sometimes it's hard through cost, money. You need to think about getting it done, getting your car sorted. Make sure your tyres have enough PSI limiting. Check your water coolant tank, engine oil, make sure it's topped up to maximum level. Check out for further police instruction, roadworks. Check your centre mirror, wing mirror before turning, acting in safe, sufficient directional choice, making sure motorcyclists are not overtaken or cars. Anyway, we're going to move on for the instance inside the UK today. We've got an incident in my constituency where I was born, Clacton on Sea. Burrs Road, partially blocked, accident, slow traffic, partially blocked and slow traffic due to accident on Burrs Road, both ways from Telford Road and Slasbury Lane. That was reported today at 7:25. There's an accident there. Colchester, A133, clearing traffic in the construction area on A133, St Andrews Avenue, both ways at Waitrose. In the construction area, a lane closure is in place. 26 minutes past 8. I mean, I've given out road incidents every day. I post them on Twitter. What could I achieve from posting these people? If someone's listening, it could save you a further pile-up, could save you congestion. It could save you for the matter of your wife giving birth or your mother or your father going in for a hospital operation, that you avoid the congestion. It's always important that you check the roadmap ahead. B194, queuing traffic in construction area on B194. Crooked mile both ways at Fisher's Green Lane. In the construction area, temporary traffic lights are in place. 7:27. I mean, I could have said it a bit, didn't have to say it like that, but maybe you booked in for a flight to go to New York and you got to arrive at Stansted Airport at 3 p.m. but you didn't realise there's an incident on the road, so you miss your flight due to not checking the map. Very, very important, isn't it, that you check the road map ahead. I think sat-navs are pretty good. You put your sat-nav on when you go on holiday. I think they redirect the route if there's an incident. A3, queuing traffic in construction area on A3. Battersby Rise both ways around B299. North Road in construction area due to traffic diverting away from the closure of St John's Hill near Clapham Junction Station. It's reported at 7:56 this morning. We can look down in South London, Croydon. I mean, I could go on all day, but I'll make this the last one. A21, queuing traffic construction area on A21, Fanbrook Common, both ways, near Hilda Vale Road in the construction area. Temporary traffic lights in operation. 8:27, this was first reported. I'm just going to quickly put, going for breaks, I've got to share them on Twitter, and then we'll get straight in with what's going on in the Dominion of the UK and the constituency of Essex. I've got 3 gifts for my biggest supporters as well. I've got 2 beautiful watches. One's Giorgio Armani and the other one's a Rolex. They're going to be gifts.
We are trying to be as open as possible to travel, but also to keep people safe. And that is a difficult balance. There's no doubt it's a difficult balance. And we see countries all over the world, actually, putting different countries on various lists as they all try to navigate the balance.
Let's talk to our political editor, Theo Ashwood. Well, the Minister trying best to explain what is a tricky situation for the government. Still some confusion, Theo.
A huge amount of confusion, because, of course, you'll remember we've been here before. Going back to the end of August last year, the threat on the front page of the Daily Telegraph was that you would be vulnerable to getting the sack unless you went back into the office. And then, of course, we had two further lockdowns, the advice from the government was very clear. You work from home. You do not go into the office unless this is absolutely necessary in order to fulfil your job, or any other job for that matter, whether it's emptying the bins or as a police officer. And now as we've started to come out of the lockdown, the advice has changed. And then we have this comment from Rishi Sunak, which was to LinkedIn News yesterday, which was, for many young people, actually, if you want to get on in your career, get back into the office. Now, a couple of people have argued there's a more nuanced point here. I was listening to Centre for Policy Studies, right-wing think tanks, somebody there was speaking about it this morning, saying, well, actually, for many young people who haven't had the chance yet, starting their careers, to forge those relationships, which will prove so beneficial, it's really important actually to go into the office to meet people,
and
to meet the boss, and do that in person rather than trying to build those relationships online. And it's all very well. And if you've got to the very top of your career, you can afford to stay in your large house and do everything via Zoom and Teams meeting, online meetings. So the point that Rishi Sunak is trying to make is actually, for young people, you should have the jab by now, obviously, 2 jabs by now, obviously. It actually works to get out, get into the office every day, build those relationships, hold those meetings, see people face to face. But of course, Gillian Keegan, the skills minister this morning, turned around and said, no, only go into the office if it's safe. And then it's up to employers if they want their staff to come into the office as well. And that, if you like, actually draws a line under the story in a funny sort of way, because all the government has is, well, we can offer advice, we think people should go back into the office, but individual companies are making individual decisions about the individual risks that their employees face.
It draws a line under that story, agreed.
The political story doesn't.
It adds to the story we were discussing 24 hours ago, which is Rishi Sunak and hitting the headlines and everything else. And he seems to be trying to nudge Boris Johnson or the rest of the government into taking on his views. He's seeking prominence in all this.
Quite right to point that out, Martin, of course, because we've already had Rishi Sunak, his views on the traffic light system for travel, well known. Just get rid of the whole thing. You want to simplify it? Just open up the borders. Let's just get on with it now. Everybody's been vaccinated, of course. Boris Johnson is also listening to the scientists as well, people like Chief Medical Officer Chris Whitty, Patrick Vallance, Chief Scientific Advisor, and Joint Committee on Vaccinations and Immunisations, the Biosecurity Committee, which is advising about travel restrictions. And the advice from the scientists is we just need to be still very careful about new variants coming into the country, which could spread and mutate and turn into something that's possibly vaccine resistant. So, but Rishi Sunak, of course, is he playing to the gallery of his own side? The Tory MPs were like, come on now, let's just get going. We can have a really good autumn ahead of us, get people back into the office, get people back into work, get people back on holiday again this month and next, and therefore, and then give UK PLC a big shot in the arm. But for Rishi Sunak, of course, there's politics to be played here, because, questions are being sort of asked, or starting to be asked, about who takes over from Boris Johnson, where is the direction of the Conservative Party, and Rishi Sunak wants to be, you have to remember the final 2 candidates to go before the membership are picked by Conservative MPs, and Rishi Sunak wants to be at the front of the queue.
Okay, so he's had 2 days in a row of getting the headlines. I wonder what he's going to come out with this afternoon. That's a hypothetical. Maybe he'll just scrap the triple lock or something like that, Just on the travel list thing, Grant Shapp's due to make this announcement on Thursday. This is a mess for the government here. Why don't they just bring it forward? Do it today. Do it in an hour's time. It'll tidy it all up.
The government has set down a grid about when these reviews take place every 3 weeks, about reviewing countries and whether they go on this.
But they could.
But they have brought forward this idea of an amber watch list. It's not going to happen. This idea that you could go on holiday to Spain, then give them 48 hours notice that Spain is going to go onto the red list because it's already on the amber watch list, and then you either face a mad dash into the country, or you've got to get yourself, your partner and 2 screaming children into a Holiday Inn just outside Heathrow Airport for 10 days. Just wasn't going to fly. Not least because, of course, there are around 1 million people in Spain. We've only got a few thousand hotel rooms set aside for hotel quarantine.
Yeah. Theo, thank you very much indeed. Theo Ashwood, our political editor.
LBC News.
No one ever talks about the times they failed. We'd rather hear that someone snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. That's not what's about to happen here. That was the sound of me failing again by 40 seconds. But last time it was 2 minutes. And now I know what it'll take.
Sorry about that, legends. I always have to do that at the start of the show because it takes me a little while to share the incident. I'll make sure that everyone gets to hear the incident to stop congestion. It's important. Know that when I share it on Twitter, the M25 gives me a retweet, and so does the A12 if I'm in the Essex constituency reporting car incidents. So I'm trying to make a difference. When I say I'm a prodigious, the prominent professor, I am actually trying to make a difference. And hopefully that's why I want to get more listeners, more people to jump on board and acknowledge what I'm trying to do. Prevent knife crime is one of them. Also campaigning for alienating fathers. Return to the office would help young workers, says Rishi Sunak. Young people will see their carers benefit by working in the office. The Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, has said. He told LinkedIn News he doubted he would have done as well if he had started his working life virtually. Mr. Sunak worked in finance, including a banking giant Goldman Sachs. He said he still talked to his early mentors, saying, "I doubt I would have had those strong relationships if I was doing my summer internship or my first bit of my career over the Teams and Zoom." This is why I think young people in particular, being able to physically be in an office is valuable, he added. The government has recommended a gradual return to work in England since restrictions were lifted in 19th July. However, the Scottish Government wants people to work at home until at least 9th August where possible. Bankers haven't been among the keenest businesses to encourage staff back into the office after many professionals were forced to work from home by the COVID pandemic. Mr. Sunak said, "I've spoken previously about young people in particular benefiting from being in offices. It was really beneficial to me when I was starting out in my career. The mentors that I found when I first started my job, I still talk to, and they've been a help to me all through my career, even after we've gone in different ways." Another former Goldman Sachs banker, Xavier Roulette, who has been in the news this week for telling the younger generation of bankers to stop complaining about the long working hours. He said technology had a bigger role to play in working relationships than the pre-pandemic. "We're never going to back exactly the way we were before," he told the BBC. But the Chancellor also has a point, which is that human interaction, besides the new technological tools, is also important. So I think we're going to end with a blended approach. Yes, by all means, get back in the office, but do not underestimate the power of technology. I don't know what you guys are thinking now, if you're thinking about what's happening in the future. We've got winter months coming up. What happens then? What happens in the winter months? Is a COVID spike going to mount up almost back to normal? That is what I'm thinking. I don't know what you guys make of that, but that's exactly what I'm thinking. The dispersal order in place. This is in this constituency, Clacton-on-Sea. The dispersal order in place across Clacton-on-Sea's coastline as police deal with unlicensed music event. The dispersal order is enforced along beaches, promenades, and car parks. Essex Police have issued a dispersal order along Clacton-on-Sea beaches in an effort to break up an unlicensed music event. The dispersal order has been put in place across the coastline, stretching from Beach Road in St Joseph to Sunny Point in Walton Mays. Essex Police said they were using additional powers after receiving reports of an unlicensed music event is being planned in the area tonight, August 1st. In a statement, Essex Police said a dispersal order has been put in place along the coastline of Clacton-on-Sea following reports of an unlicensed music event planned for today, August the 1st, 2 days ago. We were talking about this yesterday, but I just want to bring it up again. This gives our officers the power to move anyone on from the area who may be likely to disturb the local community, be involved in antisocial behaviour, or commit violent offences or damage towards property. Yeah, people drinking, having music. Then you've got the beach huts getting wrecked. The order began at 1:40 p.m. this afternoon and will run until 1:40 p.m. on Tuesday, August the 3rd. Police are asking anyone who sees anything suspicious to contact them by calling 101. It's August the 3rd today. That is the reason why I brought it out. I read it yesterday. I knew it was the end today. It needs to be brought up again just in case it happens again. Why do people feel the need to have a party on the beach, which is about a spread of a 2-mile run, maybe a bit longer, from Clacton-on-Sea to Walton-on-Naze, done out along the beach. I don't know if it's a 2-mile stretch, not quite sure along the beach there. Could be longer, could be 3 or 4, who knows. Anyway, Afghanistan general says Taliban gains threaten global security. An Afghan general has warned of devastating consequences for global security if the Taliban win their fight against government forces. General Sami Sadat is leading the battle against the Taliban in the southern province in the Helmand, where his intense fighting has broken out in the capital of Lashkar. At least 10 civilians have been killed there in the recent days, the UN has said. The Taliban has seized several districts of Lashkar, but Jean Sadat said he was confident the group would not take the city. He told the BBC that while the government forces had lost ground, he believed that the Taliban would be unable to sustain the assault. However, he said Taliban were being reinforced by fighters from other Islamist groups and warned that their gains pose a threat beyond Afghanistan. This will increase the hope for small extremist groups to mobilise in the cities of Europe and America and will have devastating effect on global security, he said. This is not a war of Afghanistan. This is a war between liberty and total terrorism. The Taliban assault in Helmand province is part of the major offence across Afghanistan. The militants have made rapid advances in recent months as the US forces have withdrawn after 20 years of military operations in the country. Helmand was the centrepiece of the US British military campaign, and any Taliban gains there would be a blow for the Afghan government. In Lashkar fell, it would be the first provincial capital won by the Taliban since 2016, when they briefly held the northern city of Kunduz. Corpses on the roads, residents of Lashkar say they were living in fear as the city faces heavy assault from their militants, who are being targeted with US and Afghan air strikes. Neither the Taliban will have mercy on us, nor will government stop the bombing. There are corpses on the roads. We do not know if they are civilians or Talibans. One resident told the BBC, another said, I do not know where to go. There are clashes in every corner of the city. United Nations Assistance Mission in Afghanistan, UNAMA, says civilians are breathing the brunt of the fighting. It is called on both sides to do more to protect them. In addition to fatalities, dozens of people have been injured and thousands displaced, according to UNAMA. Doctors of Lashkar have reported being overwhelmed and running low on supplies. There is fighting all around, one told the BBC. Meanwhile, officials in the city of Afghan forces had recaptured the office and estate of TV and radio station, which previously had been seized by the Taliban. What is happening elsewhere? Lashkar, one of 3 provincial capitals, under attack. Attempts by militants captured in the Kandahar, Afghanistan's second largest city, have continued after rocket strikes hit its airport on Sunday. Seizing control of Kandahar would be a huge victory for the Taliban, giving them a group of the south of the country. Umar says 5 civilians have been killed, 42 wounded over the past 3 days. In a third Bizayan city, Herat, in the west, government commandos are being battled in insurgents after days of fierce fighting. Government forces have taken back some areas after the UN compound was attacked on Friday. Videos shared on social media appear to show residents on the streets and rooftops and Herat shouting, Allahu Akbar, God is greatest, in support of the government's gains. It's not when you start reading what's going on around the world to realise how lucky you are to be within the UK. Contested is where fighting is ongoing in strong Taliban present districts according to 2005 Afghanistan government boundaries. As government forces struggle to contain Taliban advance, President Ashraf Ghani blamed the sudden withdrawal of US troops for the increase in fighting. The reasons for our current situation is that decision was taken abruptly, he told Parliament on Monday. Mr. Ghani said he was warned Washington the withdrawal would have consequences. Although nearly all its military forces have left, the US continued its air offence in support of government troops. President Biden's administration announced on Monday that's because of the increase in violence. It would take in thousands of Afghan refugees to work with the US forces. The US and the UK has accused the Taliban of committing possible war crimes but massacring civilians. In a town captured near the Pakistan border, US Secretary of State Blinken said he has seen reports of deeply disturbing Taliban atrocities. Gruesome videos that emerged from Spin Boldak apparently showed revenge killings. The Taliban have rejected the accusations. You might be interested in listening to this. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but we're going to play it so you can hear it.
Hi, Adam, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Thank you so much. And
This photograph shows the soldiers distributing the toys to the children in the orphanage, and we believe that that one of them is Ramin, who we're going to talk to today.
Can you point out what one you are?
I am this one, in front of the orange shirts.
Can I ask you, what toy did you get?
Yes, especially I like the balls because I am a good footballer.
قلم موزنیت و قلم که میگرفت فقط از این سر جیبش هم تو میکشید برش میداد میگفتی برای من دنیا را دادن و مقوخ یک امید بود که بالاخره درس خواندیم زحمت کشیدیم تحصیل کردیم اما از این به بعدش که پس یک تغییرات بیا و نیروهای خارجی هم کشور اعلام کنن و از ترس راست معزیز که ما بادایی که کشور دوباره به ما اینده تاریک سابق خود برگرد. اینی عکس دیگه اینی خورترکی من از خوب که تاشون خارجی ها برای ما مترک آوردن گودیگر آوردن کلی چی خارجی ها انگلیسیانی ها
It does bring back an awful lot of memories. So these are pictures of it was difficult through the eyes of a parent. It was doubly difficult when some of my own children sent some of their own toys out to Kabul, and when it was unboxed, I saw things and I thought, well, the last time I saw that was in my child's bedroom.
And the facilities. I mean, the boys waiting for pencils, and I think they were queuing up to 2 hours or something just for a pencil, and you don't appreciate what pencil means to them.
دمو سال 2003 و 2002 اینا باز روز جمعه که این اصحاب میخیستیم چشم ما در دروازه و تا حال خارجی میاد حال خارجی و با بسیار یک حس مهربانی و انسانیت
How much difference did we make to you?
when you are in Afghanistan, especially in 2002-3, I remember that was the best times. Right now, when I see you, just my tear is coming on.
So, Roland, that's exactly what's going on in Afghanistan, ladies and gents. I'll shoot back to LBC. Bear with me. Says James O'Brien, but we're going to look. I need to make a cup of tea, quick break, come back to the news, see what's going on and what's in store for the future. Traffic light system, is that getting in anybody's way this summer, the traffic light system on the going abroad with your family perhaps? You want to go on a summer holiday?
Is that you can be effective and productive whilst not being in a central location, whether that be an office, etc. And I'm talking obviously about people who are predominantly desk workers.
Of
right?
course you are. And this is the
city
and town centres that could be permanently damaged if this shift away from offices
runs
deep and long or becomes permanent.
Those comments.
Well, I don't know if you can answer this question. But I'm going to ask you, and then anyone else can answer it as well. Do different people thrive when there's more remote working going on from the people that thrive when we're all in the same office?
Maybe. I think people who are maybe quite introverted can be intimidated maybe when they are mixed with more extroverted people, for example. I think people who may be working in creative fields like marketing and stuff like that, where it helps to brainstorm out loud can be negatively affected. But then, I mean, I would probably be classed as being extroverted, right, or at least a functioning introvert.
Sure.
And it's never really been an issue for me.
No, well, you did start by saying you mostly remote work, and you got promoted while doing this job. Kelly, I mean, partly because it's my favourite ratio for obvious reasons, but also partly because I think it fits. I would say you were 52-48 in support of the Chancellor on this.
I'll take it.
Which is that's the percentage for our age, isn't it? A couple of photos free on this, 03456. I'm not taking any more calls, to be clear, about the the traffic passports, the traffic lights systems, traffic light travel at the moment. So do look forward to discussing that later in the week with me or later in the day with valued colleagues. But I do want to know about this. It's trying to get Kelly's helped a lot on just pinning down precisely what the question is. Sunak's motivation is no doubt partly driven by worries about the shift from city and town centres and the specific economic damage that will do to specific companies, because it won't necessarily change the amount of money that we spend. It will change where we spend it. So people always cite Pret a Manger at this point, which is a sandwich chain prevalent in bigger towns and cities. There are some parts of London where you can't walk for 5 minutes without seeing two, actually. But Greggs has just posted amazing figures. Now, Greggs has outposts in some transport hubs in only really no London at the moment, but it doesn't have, you go out to the suburbs of London and you'll have Greggs all over the place. So Greggs has done really, really well. So the argument about sandwich shops and fast food joints doesn't hold. It's the ones who have got their business concentrated in white collar areas that have suffered as the white collars work from home. So they're now moving out to the places that are close to their homes as opposed to their offices, and they're still doing a lot of shopping. You're also saving money on travel, which you might then spend on something else. Travel is a particular problem, of course, because it is a public service, albeit often in private hands. 27 after 11 is the time. So do you need to be how much? Let's go for the 52-48. Do you need to be in the office to get ahead? 03456 60973. Jack's in Cork. Jack, what would you like to say?
Hi, James. Nice to speak to you. I think I'd sort of like to have the angle on this. I think there's a big generational difference, if anything.
I thought there might be. Tell me more.
Yeah. I work for a big tech company over here in Ireland where I am now. I've been there for the last 2 years. Changed position a couple of times, so sort of had experience of that. And I've noticed my company is quite young in general, but those of us who are more used to the sort of online social media communication, we sort of ping each other all the day on Teams, Zoom, whatever. So that's much more normal for us. Whereas I think the older colleagues, because they don't do that maybe outside of work, they've had a harder time sort of getting used to that, or that, you know, it's not as normal for them to have sort of small talk, chatting through social media.
Yeah, I mean, a few people pointing out that the younger you are, the more likely you are to spend most of your life on social media anyway. Did you say that you changed jobs and achieved promotion while remote working?
I have, yeah.
Okay, that's a really good case study. And I mean, it kind of, your personal experience disproves Rishi Sunak's point. Do you think you would have done both of those things if you were office-based? Particularly the promotion. I don't know why I'm so interested in this. Is the people who come to the boss's notice, are they going to be the same people when it's remote working as they are when you're all sat around the same table or in the same room?
Yeah. I think for me personally, it could have even helped being remote, just because you have more freedom to express yourself. I think, you know, maybe if you're in a big meeting room, you know, there's going to be one person taking over and sharing all their ideas. But maybe more introverted in the last caller who wouldn't have done that. Where, you know, if you're free to send an email or type something in the chat, you know, your ideas are heard more.
So this is actually this mitigates against the loudest voices. And possibly amplifies the quieter voices, who quite often, and it pains me to admit this, Jack, they quite often have more interesting things to say than the loudest voices.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I like that a lot. And I mean, what does the future hold for you? Do you know? I mean, what is it going to look like when things begin to return to normal?
Funnily enough, I'm actually moving to Germany in a couple of weeks' time for another new position.
Look at you! You haven't stopped.
Yeah, no, a lot of move for me. But yeah, no, I think for a lot of companies, especially here in Ireland, we've been in lockdown for a long time now. Yeah. It's going to be sort of this whole merged approach. So, you know,
I think you're right, and I think that is going to have impacts on city centres. I probably need to review the 52-48 ratio. Actually, if you add the callers so far, you're looking at, yeah, obviously you need to do it if you can, pop in now and then. But I don't know. Are we going to see a massive sea change? 03456060973. Jack, good luck in the new job. 11:30 is the time. Holly Harris has your headlines.
It's been a good morning for Team GB at Tokyo 2020 with another 6 medals won so far. There were 2 golds and a silver in sailing. Diver Jack Law won a bronze, and then silvers for Jason Kenny and his wife Laura in the cycling. Simone Biles has also taken bronze in the women's beam final on her return to action. The most successful American gymnast of all time withdrew from many of her events at the Olympics to focus on her mental well-being. The number of deaths involving coronavirus registered each week in England and Wales has climbed to its highest level for 3 months. 327 deaths registered in the week ending July the 23rd mentioned COVID-19 on the death certificate. A Belarusian activist has been found dead in Ukraine after being reported missing. Police say they're exploring the possibility of a murder masked as suicide after he was found in a park in Kiev. The weather warming up with some sunshine, but scattered showers breaking out this afternoon, especially over England. The showers could be heavy in places, light winds and a high of 21 Celsius.
This is LBC.
Picture the scene. Warm summer sun, the smell of the air, and ice cream. Ice cream with sprinkles. It feels so good. Know what else feels so good? Knowing that Pension B combined your old pensions into one simple online plan, managed by one of the world's largest money managers, for peace of mind.
Be pension confident. Download the app or visit pensionbee.com today.
Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. Capital at risk.
People of Great Britain, Purple Bricks have big news.
Massive news.
If you don't get any offers on your house, we'll give you your money back. We're so confident we'll get you sold, we even have our own automatic voice filter. They can probably hear me in France. Purple Bricks. Book your free in-home or virtual valuation today.
Fixed fee payable on instruction. Money back guarantee. Fixed fee redeemable if no qualifying offers made within 10 months. Any extras purchased and all legal fees are excluded. See terms and conditions for full details of the offer.
Let's get our COVID-19 vaccinations sorted. If you're 18 and over, you can book right now. The vaccine is the best way to protect yourself and others. And remember, you need your second dose after 8 weeks. Go to nhs.uk/COVID vaccination to book, or visit your local walk-in centre. The sooner, the safer.
What a difference a day makes.
Every vaccination gives us hope.
After a hard day's work away from home, you don't want to be worrying about where you're staying or what it'll actually be like. But with Premier Inn, there's no need for uncertainty. Because we've got over 800 locations, most with parking, a welcoming restaurant serving breakfast through to dinner, and of course, a comfy king-size bed for a great night's sleep. Plus, with a choice of flexible rates, if plans change, your booking can too. So you can work away without the worry. Premier Inn. Rest easy. Only available to book at premierin.com.
Euronics is the home of electricals and the home of expert advice from people you can trust. It's what we're great at. When you come and see us in one of our over 600 local stores, you'll find great offers and great prices on great products from leading brands like Bosch, Neff and Siemens. So when you're looking for where to find that next great product, come and see your local electrical experts. Visit us online to shop or find your local store at euronics.co.uk.
Philip Schofield here. To all you van drivers out there, feeling sorry for yourselves, thinking why do the car drivers get all the love? I've got news for you. From the people who brought you WeBuyAnyCar.com. Drum roll. WeBuyAnyVan.com. Yes, we buy vans, all types of vans like yours. So stop feeling neglected, because we love vans too. To find out how much your van's worth in 60 seconds, enter your reg number now at WeBuyAnyVan.com.
For more information, see WeBuyAnyVan.com/info.
James O'Brien on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
It's 11:35, and you're listening to James O'Brien on LBC. Just a little nod to the faithful. Given the amount of jip I get, I've never understood why for talking about going to private school. I've been very honest about. I think this is what winds up the sort of slightly harder thinking right wingers so much. As someone who's benefited from the system says that the system is, skewed. There's no earthly way I'd be doing what I'd be doing now if my dad and mum hadn't sent me to fee-paying schools. So I get quite a lot of jip from people saying, why is he always going on about the fact that he went to a posh school? Why is he always going on about the fact that he went to a posh school? I don't get this very often. So thanks to Graham for sending it in. Why, when at Mr. James O.B. talks about his career, does he always fail to mention how much of his luck was down to the fact he attended a posh private school? That's Twitter in a nutshell, that, isn't it? Why is he always going on about the fact that he went to private school? Pause. Why does he never mention the fact that he went to private school? And that's why it's very important to steer a jolly course between the Scillas and Charybdises of deliberate stupidity. 11:36 is the time. We do keep getting in touch. Back to working in the office. I think Sunak's wrong. I think we're looking at there's a brilliant short story. I think it's called The Machine Stops, and I think it's by E.M. Forster. And I've mentioned it to you a few times. I read it at private school, and it tells the tale of a dystopian future where I think some sort of nuclear apocalypse has rendered the surface of the earth more or less uninhabitable, although there may be, it's a while since I read it, there may be kind of people creeping back onto it as the nuclear winter passes. And it's a guy who is in contact with his mum mostly via video screen. So imagine the Death Star in Star Wars, but it was just full of small rooms all around the outside, like a kind of a sphere, but made up of small, like Lego bricks. Imagine a massive Lego sphere, and everyone lives in a Lego brick, and you have no physical interaction with anybody else whatsoever. Please don't at me if I've misremembered the finer details of the story. The point is the point, okay? No one's saying that. No one's going to say we're never going to see other human beings again. All right, it's to confine it to the context of offices and workspaces. Nobody's saying you will never see another colleague again. Some people won't, but most people will have meetups. They'll go into work. They'll do some things. I don't know what the future holds, but I do know that Rishi Sunak is being a little bit previous when he says that if you are a young person and you want to get ahead, then you need to be in the office. I didn't know that for sure at 11, but given the age range, the generational context of the conversations that we're having, I think Rishi Sunak's age is as relevant to his views on this subject as my age is relevant to mine. And my age makes me a bit silly, okay? 11:38 is the time. 0345 6060 973 is the number you need. And detail, insights, opinions and experiences. I love the idea that the more threads we can knit together, the more valuable the tapestry becomes. Richard's in Nantwich in Cheshire. Richard, what would you like to say?
Thanks, James. I appreciate the letting me come on the air for this, but I actually think Rishi Sunak is actually completely wrong.
Okay.
I've actually, during the pandemic, I've managed to complete a law degree. I've moved from Cardiff to Nantwich. I've had 2 jobs during the pandemic with 2 separate solicitors firms, and they have been for promotional basis. I've gone up a stage each time. And then upon completion of my LPC, I've actually been awarded a training contract, which traditionally is very, very hard to get, even outside of the pandemic. So I think, to be honest, I don't think it's down to the fact that you can't get ahead when you're outside the office and working remotely. I think it actually comes down to the ability for your employers to make adjustments to allow you to get ahead. Because I've been, I suppose, quite fortunate that they have allowed me to study whilst working full time. So I've been studying full time whilst working full time during the pandemic as well.
So are you doing your articles then?
Well, to be honest, I've finished them. It's now a case where
you finished your training contract during lockdown.
I'm halfway through it. So the way it's going is the SQE is supposed to. This is
showing my age again, aren't I? It was probably has changed in the last 30 years, which is when my mates were doing their articles at big law firms.
Well, to be perfectly honest, it's changed in the last 3. It's the SQE.
Have you got an amber watch list, Richard?
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
So, no, okay, I understand it. So the reason I asked was because I had quite a few friends at law school when I first left university. They went on to do what was called the CPE, which was the conversion course, and then the LPC. Yes. And they did have, because my girlfriend at the time was one of them, and they did have a really thriving social life. And I'm interested in that side of things, because albeit that it hasn't.
Right, now, James, we'll get through to the end of the show. So yeah, sorry about that. Quick short break. Always have a break in between shows. Makes the show better anyway. Broadens the show. You get to hear what's going on LBC as well. Essex crime, builders rubble, car parts and furniture dump in Epping Forest as fly tipping crisis worsens over lockdown. Fly tipping, it's horrific, isn't it? Talking about the end of the world, ruining the ozone layer, pollution. You got idiots like this, inhumane idiots, it's absolutely ruining society, aren't they? Ruining the Greenland, ruining the country parks, they're ruining farmland, they're ruining just general, we've got waterways places such as ditches to stop places flooding and need people just fly tipping. Ruining the natural habitat. David Attenborough would be spitting feathers at these inhumane society. This is in Essex. £1,000 worth of fines have been issued recently. Instances of fly tipping in Epping Forest have surged recently. Fly tipping in Epping Forest has skyrocketed since the beginning of lockdown, forcing authorities to hand out nearly 10,000 worth of fines recently. It is part of an increase in fly tips, which has led to an organised crackdown on the activity. The City of London Operation CLC, who oversee expensive forests, which covers searches of land across West Sussex and East London. It's had said since the lockdown began. Reports of fly tipping in forests have increased by 50%. These fly tips include black sacks of full rubbish, builders rubble, furniture, car parts, waste from illegal cannabis cultivation and other household items. In 2019, only 414 fly tips were cleared in Epping Forest, a number which rose to 466 in 2020. So far in 2021, authorities have been required to clear 379 fly tips. It trends to continue at this rate. 2021 will see 650 fly tips in the forest, a massive increase. The CLC put much of the increase that to individuals paying firms to fly tip in the forest. Some of these individuals have been amongst those handed fines by the CLC recently over fly tipping. Recently, £9,085 worth of fines have been handed to 10 people convicted of fly tipping in Basden, Chelmsford and Thames Magistrates Courts. 5 warrants were also issued to people who failed to appear at court. Chairman of City London Corporation's Epping Forest and Commons Committee, Graham Doshi Smith said, Epping Forest is more important than ever before to local communities and will do everything in their power to protect it. Fly tipping is a crime which damages the environment and wastes resources that could be better used to support the site. Hello.
Hello, Justin. How are you doing? It's Charlotte from Kingston.
Oh, hi there, Charlotte.
Hi. Have you not been able to get on?
No, because what it is, I was checking my email. I think you sent it. Which email address did you send that thing to? I was looking for it, and I did send you a message. Could you send me the link about 10 minutes before the it started?
Oh, bless you. I'm so sorry. I was doing some training earlier, so my colleague is taking over, so I didn't answer. The email I have for you is justinjohnson123@outlook.com.
Oh, it should be in my email, but I've got so many other emails there. See, I couldn't find it. I've got about 1,000 emails after that one you sent it, I reckon, and I couldn't find it.
Do you want to try to send it to you now?
Yeah, please. And so will it be okay to attend tomorrow?
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to put it as the topic, genius within.
Yeah.
And then let me just copy it and just copy and paste it.
I got up. I was just about to do my radio. I thought, I've got that meeting this morning about 10:02, and then I've just started my radio just now. So it's all right. I had a bath, got myself ready and everything. I thought, I better get ready for that genius meeting.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find the distance. I think, yeah, I've got it here.
Thank you, Sean. What?
Just copy and paste this.
In a Zoom meeting, what are we doing? Just
right now, they're talking about concentration.
Concentration.
Yeah, they're covering developmental areas.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. So I have sent you the link.
Yeah.
So you should get that now.
Okay, thank you very much, Charlotte. I appreciate it.
Do you want to see if you've got it? Do you want to look at your email?
Yeah, I just quickly look. I was literally just can't my little radio show thing I do, but it's okay though. It doesn't matter. It's still online. It's still on air at the moment, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah, it's all right. I just I've only got my number.
Have you been able to find that?
Yeah, I'm just going onto it now.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah, Charlotte Courtney, yes. Genius within.
Click on that link and it will send you the. Okay?
Yeah. Is it too late to go in now, is it?
No, click on, it's fine.
Oh gosh.
There's not much left, but it will give you a good idea of what to expect tomorrow.
Okay then, I'll jump in now then, Charlotte. Thank you very much.
Excellent. All right, it's good to see you.
Thank you. Okay, bye. You heard it, ladies and gents. I've got to end the show. I've got a meeting to be in. I didn't realise I could enter it now. Take care, guys.